Hi there. This is a quick revision of simultaneous equations. If you remember, simultaneous equations are really most useful when you are trying to find the point of intersection of two lines. Okay, now graphically you can do this. If you plot the two lines, you should be able to read off the coordinate of where they meet, but it's not realistic to do this in every scenario, so it's easier to do it algebraically. So the first thing you need is the two equations. So let's just start with two equations, I suppose. Here's one line, 3x minus 2y equal to 8. Okay? And let's put another line. So let's say we have x plus y equal to 6. So these are two lines. Okay? So how do we actually do the simultaneous equation? Well, the first thing we do is you put them on top of each other. Okay, now usually they'll be given to you in that form, but if they're not, you just put them on top of each other. So I'm just going to draw a line here. I'm just going to put one on top of the other. And as you can see, I'm lining them up, and this is important. I'm lining up the x's with the x, the symbols with the symbols, the y's with the y's, the equals with the equals, the constants with the constants. So everything gets lined up, so it makes it very easy to understand what to do. If they're not in that order, x followed by y, followed by equal, followed by constant, then you force it to be in that order. And I'll show you one of them in a minute. So the strategy is very simple. What you want to do is you want to add the x with the x, the y with the y, and the constant with the constant. But you want to add them in such a way that when you add either the x's or the y's, they become 0. Now, if you think about it, how do you add become 0? You add to become 0 when one of them is negative and one of them is positive. So in this case, I see a negative and a positive. So if I add those two at the moment, I'll get negative y. But I want 0. So the only way that's going to happen is if this bottom one is a 2. So what you do is you multiply the line you want to change by the number you want to change it to. So in this case, I want 1y to become 2y. So I'm going to multiply everything on the bottom line by 2. So I'm just going to write the new line underneath. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times 6 is 12. Now once I've written that down, I then take the other line and I put it underneath it. And line it up. And now I can add 2 plus 3 is 5x. Plus and minus 2 is 0. I can put down 0y, but I'm just not going to bother. Put the equals and put 20. And now you can solve it. So 5 times a number is 20. If I divide both sides by 5, x is 4. So now I've solved it for x, but I need to solve it for y. So all I do is I take my 4 and I take one of the sums. So let's take the original one here. X plus y is 6. And I know x is 4, so that's really 4 plus y is 6. So take 4 from both sides, y is 2. So my answer is 4 and 2, but I put a comma and brackets because it's a coordinate. Remember, it's a point of intersection, so it's an actual coordinate. There's my x component and my y component of my coordinate. And there you have it done. We'll try another one now. Let's try one that's a little bit trickier. Okay, so have a look at this one. X minus 3y equal to 1 and 4x plus y equal to 30. So again, decide, do I want to get rid of the x's or the y's? The natural thing should be to look for ones at opposite signs. So in this case, these have an opposite sign, so it'd be good if these were both 3. This is already 3, but this is 1. So I'm going to multiply the bottom line by 3 to get that to cancel with that. So multiply the bottom line by 3, I'll get 12x plus 3y equal to 90. Multiply and then bring the top line, because I haven't touched it, underneath. Line it up. And then 13x is equal to 91. X is 7. And now that x is 7, let's figure out what y is. So take one of your equations. It doesn't make a difference which one. Let's take the bottom one. 4x plus y is 30. Replace the x with 7. 4 times 7 plus a number is 30. 28 plus a number is 30. Take 28 from both sides. Y is 2. So put them together now. 7 comma 2. And do that. Now let's try a harder one. Okay, so in this case, all the letters will be, I suppose, different. Let's say x plus 2y equals 12, 3x minus 5y equals 3. Okay, so as you can see from this, we have opposite signs, but those numbers, I can't just multiply one of these by a number to get the other number. So I'm going to have to multiply both lines by something. And usually what you will use is, well, what's the lowest common multiple of 2 and 5? It's 10. So make both these lines 10y. That means I multiply the top line by 5 and the bottom line by 2. So let's do that. Let's multiply the top line by 5. Let's multiply the bottom line by 2. Let's add them. 11x is equal to 66. X is 6. And again, use one of the equations. So x plus 2y is 12. That means 6 plus 2y is 12. Take 6 from both sides. 2y is 6. Divide both sides by 2. Y is 3. So it's 6 comma 3. And there you have that one done. Okay? Now, the hardest one, I personally think, is when all the signs are the same. Okay, so look at this one. 2x minus 3y is equal to 14, and we have 2x minus y equal to 10. So in this case, they're both positive and they're both negative, so we don't have an opposite to help us. So you have to force one of them to be opposite. So because these two numbers are the same, it would make sense if one of these numbers was the negative, and then you could just add them to get a 0. So all I'm going to do is pick either line, doesn't make a difference. I'll pick the top line, and I'm going to multiply everything in the top line by minus 1, and that will change all the signs. So I'll have minus 2x plus 3y equal to minus 14, and then the bottom line will just be 2x minus y equal to 10. So let's cancel them. Okay, they're gone, and you're left with a plus 3, take away 1 is a plus 2y is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by 2, y is negative 1. And if y is negative 1, let's pop it back in to one of them. So let's take this formula. This is one of them. Let's replace the y with minus 1. 2x minus minus 1 is equal to 10. That's 2x plus 1 is equal to 10. 2x is equal to 9. X is equal to 9 over 2. And then put them together. 9 over 2 and minus 1. And always put the x before the y. Okay? So that's probably the hardest one, I suppose, that you can come across. Actually, I just realized I made a mistake there. Okay, so when I looked at that there, that's a 4, isn't it? There's 0. That's minus 2y is equal to minus 4. X equal to minus 2. So if that's minus 2, that's 8. That's 8. So it's 4. So sorry, mistake there. That's 4, not 8. Okay? I knew there was something wrong. Usually they don't come out as fractions. Okay? And here's I'm going to do the hardest one now with you. Okay? X plus y, but both of them are fractions. And x over 4 plus y over 2 is equal to 6. So how do you deal with something when there's fractions involved? Well, think about it. If there's fractions involved, you can get rid of the fractions if you multiply everything by the lowest common multiple of the denominators. So the lowest common multiple of the denominators here is 10. So if I multiply that line by 10, and the lowest common multiple of the denominators here is 8. If I multiply that line by 8, it should give me the same sum but without the fractions. So let's try that and see does it look any better. So 10 times x over 2 plus 10 times y over 5 is equal to 40. And let's do this line. 8 times x over 4 plus 8 times y over 2 is equal to 48. Now that doesn't look any better, but now we have a fraction that can be divided out. 2 into 10, that's 5x, plus 5 into 10, 2y is equal to 40. And this one, 4 into 8 is 2x, plus 4y, and that's equal to 48. So now I can see that all the signs are the same, but now there's no fraction. So I can just treat it now like how I would do anything. If I could make this a if I could make this a minus 4, then they'd cancel. So I'm going to multiply the top line by minus 2. That's minus 10x minus 4y is equal to minus 160. And then leave the bottom line as it is. That means they're gone. Minus 8x is equal to, now you're going to need a calculator for this unless you can figure it out in the head. Let's see, 48, 58, 60. That means minus 112. X is equal to 14. And if x is equal to 14, you can substitute it back up into one of the other ones. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so I can pop it back up in here. If x is equal to 14, then 2x plus 4y is equal to 48. That means 2 times 14 plus 4 times a number is 48. Take 28 from both sides because that's 28. 4y is equal to 20. Y is 5. So my answer is 14 and 5. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.